r/AskReddit, what's the scariest science fact that the public knows nothing about? Until we obviously started back up again. Our bodies have no way of knowing that we're breathing oxygen. If I could snap my fingers and replace all the oxygen in your room with another inert gas, you wouldn't notice. You wouldn't start to choke or struggle. You'd just get sleepier and sleepier until you die. That's why carbon monoxide is so dangerous. If you have any sort of gas appliance in your building, invest in a detector. We're basically only wired to know if we're breathing in too much CO2, that's why nitrogen asphyxiation has no signs before you pass out. Tetraethyl lead raised worldwide lead levels so significantly they had to drill into Arctic ice to find an uncontaminated sample. Where it came from is the really scary part. Humans, like the morons they are, mixed hell into fuel and burned it for over 70 years by the billions of tons. The dude that invented it won an American Chemical Society top award for it. He also won that same award 6 other years, and 3 of his 7 inventions he won the ACS prize for have now been found to be horrible for people and the environment. Insect population depletion. I see this one often. I'm a truck driver. Have spent a lot of time on country highways. 10-ish years ago I'd park the truck at night and the windshield would look like I drove through a slaughterhouse sometimes. That hasn't happened in several years now. Also roadkill is noticeably less. At first glance that seems like a good thing. But where'd they go? Related, but does anyone know a subreddit like this? For unknown/disturbing/existential fun facts? The r/collapse subreddit is full of interesting, eerie information related to the so-called meta-crisis. Fascinating, disturbing, and intriguing all the same. Take it easy on there if you do visit. Scientists were trying to study the effects that microplastics have on the human body and brain but were unable to draw any reasonable conclusions because they could not find a control group. We all get cancer. But most are so little and small they can't and won't hurt us. I use alcohol to kill mine. Yeah, we technically get cancer every day, but luckily our immune system recognizes the non-self antigens, or complete lack of MHC class I, which is on all somatic cells, on the tumors and kills them. That's why one of the hallmarks of cancer is evasion of the immune system. This thread is a lot less fun than I expected. Don't worry. You'll be a little freaked out and then nothing will change in your life and you'll forget 95% of this thread. There are millions and billions of dollars in research into how to make people buy crap. The missus took a year of psychology and what they got the most research on is how to manipulate you and me into buying crap we don't need. Mental illness we know a little about. Making you want the new crap that you don't need. We know a hell of a lot about how that works. Yeah, that's marketing. The psychology of how to separate you from the money in your wallet. Obligatory Adam Curtis. Link. The first contraceptive pill was never tested on women. They tested it on men instead. I could believe that. I'm a medicinal chemist and the history of my field is full of skeletons and batshit ideas. And none of them had babies, so clearly it worked. Resistance is futile. Europa, even though smaller than Earth, has more water than all water bodies in the world combined. Nestle has zeroed in on your location. Swimming in fresh water could expose you to Naegleria fowleria, brain-eating amoeba that is fatal 97% of the time, and is almost impossible to treat effectively. An amoeba actually, but scary indeed. Brain aneurysms can happen at any time, to anyone. No matter what age you are, or even how healthy you are, if you are currently alive, you have a chance of getting a brain aneurysm. When you do get one, there's a 50% chance you'll just die immediately. Like, you'd be alive 1 minute, and then lying on the floor unconscious the next minute. Are the chances of actually getting a brain aneurysm at any random moment low? Yes, but it's still not zero. Whew. I'm not currently alive. Dodged that one, didn't I, boys? Haha. If an electrical line is damaged and is in contact with the floor, even walking away from it with big steps can cause a huge electrical potential difference between your feet and kill you. Are any flooring materials even remotely conductive? Geiger counters used to be incredibly easy to make, but now it is extremely hard to find non-irradiated materials to use as a reference point to count off of. Link. Something similar happened when they tried testing for lead back in the day. The ultra-clean labs we have today were originally designed so for this reason. Also, the investigation into lead also led to the discovery of the age of the Earth. 1. Background radiation has gone down ever since the nuclear bomb tests concluded. 2. There are alternatives, albeit maybe not easier to find. 3. I wouldn't say it used to be extremely easy to manufacture Geiger counters or surgical equipment, but let's say it's been harder and harder. Thankfully we find other ways. Prions. I do not recommend researching. There is nothing to be done if you have prion disease. And you can just spontaneously develop it without ever being exposed to any prions. Fun times. This is the one for me too. Found out about them about a year or two ago, and sometimes when I'm alone and my thoughts drift to it, I just kinda sit there like, damn. Isn't cannibalism the main cause of this? Also, mad cow disease is prion, I believe. If you start showing any signs of rabies, you are going to die. Or at least in 99% of cases that happens. Alcohol increases the permeability of the blood-brain barrier by unpredictable factors, which is why people die from overdose on their normal drug dosages. Here's something different, Dole's incompleteness theorem. Mathematics, the very science that we use to build bridges, fly airplanes, and operate nuclear power plants, is inherently broken and there's no way it can be fixed. Dole himself lost his mind over this. That's the point where you separate maths as a science and maths as a tool. The latter makes it useful for engineering and construction, building the modern world. We don't need to know why everything works, just it does work. Go past that and you need way more education, and way more brain power. Eli 5? The Sentinelese Islanders better hope they don't become the control group. It is estimated that by 2050, more than 10 million people will die due to antimicrobial resistance. Many people know, but nothing is done and it is terrifying. Scary as fuck. COVID ensured that we will never again prepare for something medical in nature. Gamma ray bursts. If ever one happens to be close enough and aimed exactly at Earth, we're basically all dead. Isn't there no evidence of this substantially having happened in the last 250 million YRS? You'd think the odds must be incredibly low or it would have happened a couple times by now. In fact, one would have to think the odds are higher of another cataclysmic asteroid, no. Dead or we all turn to hulks. The chemical manufacturer that invented and produced Zyklon B, the gas used to euthanize people at concentration camps in World War II, was called IG Farben, a subsidiary of BASF. BASF not only still exists but is also the largest producer of industrial chemicals in the world. I want to know what they do in Antarctica with the windows and doors closed, etc. Trust me, they fuck. Soil vitamins going bye-bye and antibiotics not working anymore. Amidst the limits to growth investigations, topsoil was the #1 collapse factor after running out of oil. The greatest chemical contributor to IQ loss and violent behavior is lead, and it's still in millions of people's piping. I haven't been prescribed antibiotics for over a decade because the doctors are very conscious of this issue. In the 80s they give them for everything. Chickens can spontaneously change sexes. A gamma ray beam from a supernova 2 billion light years away singed the top of our atmosphere about a month ago. The energies in the universe are mind-blowing. An extinction-level asteroid could hit Earth with only a few days' notice. Asteroids can appear very quickly from what appears to be nowhere. There is nothing we could do to prevent it from hitting. I think I read that scientists can only monitor a very small amount of space, so it could very easily hit with little warning. This whole comment section has some scary shit, but one thing seems to ring out around a horror. Just enjoy what we got while we got it, cause you might get run over or you might get shot. False vacuum decay. It's not so fun. It wouldn't be fun or unpleasant. There would be no warning, then you just wouldn't exist anymore. I tried reading about this on Wikipedia and it makes zero sense to me, so I'm just going to pretend it doesn't exist. What is it? There is even a hypothesis that the lead in gasoline, and everything, in the U.S. was partially responsible for the spike in serial killers in the U.S. in the 1970s. Link. That about 226 g of botulinum toxin is enough to wipe out humanity. I had to look this up. Apparently it's only 4 g. Regrettably, we are the public. If there's a scary science fact the public doesn't know, it won't be found here. Earth's magnetic field started shifting at an accelerated rate in 2000. The Earth is long overdue for a magnetic pole swap. But what effect would that have? The actual amount of crude oil that's been pumped directly into the ocean. BP had high-definition 4K live footage of the pipe that ruptured and chose to censor it. And it's not just BP that's had an incident like that. Didn't a documentary out there say that the BP incident was the best thing that happened to the Gulf? Fish populations exploded BC. We stopped commercial fishing for a while.